Hello, everyone. So, I'm out of storage, of course, on my StreamYard, and as you guys can tell by the sound of my voice, I'm still pretty sick, but I am getting better. I just can't smell or taste anything, so it's getting a little bit better, but it's still not great. But I don't even know if it's going to go all the way through. I don't know what that means when you run out of storage on your StreamYard. I have no idea. But I know I sound not that great, you guys, and I apologize for that. But I just wanted to come on here because I have been covering the Travis Scott Astroworld. And I just recently, hey Lynn, I just recently seen that he did his first interview since all of this has happened. And the interview kind of pissed me off, I'm not gonna lie, but there are some things that I do want to say about this. What I am gonna start off by saying that is this is going to be fair use. Um, which this I know, I'm getting better. It's just I can't taste anything, but once I'm able to taste and my nose is better, I'll be good. But what was I saying? Oh, the Travis Scott thing. So I want to give my opinion about this because I think that there's some key points that people are not paying attention to, and they're not understanding why um some of the reasons why he is saying certain things and not saying this and not saying that. There's just a whole bunch of reasons. And I wanted to come on here and do this real quick. It's not going to be long, you guys, because obviously I sound horrible. So it's not going to be that long, but I wanted to come on here and do this. Like I said, this is fair use. I have to get a copy of like a fair use thing and put it on here, but automatically this video is going to be what do you call that? How do I make this members only? I think you have to have a membership to do that, huh? But anyway, this video is going to be demonetized. Everyone who's talking about this, especially if they are against Travis Scott, it has been demonetized. Oh well. Um, it's whatever. YouTube, I don't, you know, YouTube is changing and they are also they're trying to shut people up. They are trying to silence people, and especially people like me who talk about these types of things they protect the elites. They do. So I want to pull up this video and we are going to have a quick discussion about this because there are some things that I want to say, and I want to say why there are certain reasons as to why Travis Scott is not saying certain things and why he's keeping quiet on things. But YouTube overall, anybody who's covering the Travis Scott, especially people who are talking against him, YouTube is demonetizing their videos. YouTube is trying to silence people who talk about these higher up elites. And I'm starting to get sick of it. I'm starting to understand what lovely Teaya is talking about here, which is my favorite YouTuber, by the way. Lovely Teaya, you guys. She's amazing. And she is beautiful inside and out. She is a Black YouTuber who should be way beyond. She should have way more subscribers than she does, but we all know how it is for Black creators here on YouTube. But I love even talking about some of the things that lovely Teaya talks about. She's just amazing. And she was talking about how she took her commentary over to Spotify, and she's very successful with it now. Now, I love YouTube. YouTube is where my heart is. But if they keep silencing people, I'm going to have to do something about that. And I'm going to have to start a podcast or some shit because Nobody's going to silence me. It's not going to happen. YouTube is starting to change, you guys. It really is. Okay, so before I come on camera, I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Yes, lovely Teaya is the most, literally my favorite YouTuber here on YouTube. I think she's amazing. She's still on YouTube. She still does YouTube, but she now has a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasting, all those places where they have podcasts, and she is doing amazing. She has had so much success, and I wish her nothing but more success because she deserves it. And she's always getting demonetized, and but she's amazing. And what we're going to be talking about, is it tomorrow we're talking about the metaverse? She was talking about the metaverse not too long ago too. So I'm gonna, hold on. I'm gonna share my screen here in a minute. Yeah, tomorrow's the metaverse. That's going to be very interesting. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Wait. Hold on, you guys. Okay, that's not coming up, so hold on. Okay. Okay, so as I talk, I'm gonna be pausing and giving, because you can only let them talk for like a couple minutes and then you have to, whatever. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And I want to say some things. I just have some things to say. Of course, I told you guys this is gonna be quick. It's not gonna be long, but I have some things to say. So hold on.
When I get a migraine, I shut out the world. But with Nurtec ODT, that's all behind me now.
Nurtec can treat and prevent migraines. Don't take if allergic to Nurtec.
Nurtec ODT, that's all behind me now.
Nurtec can treat and prevent migraines.
Travis Scott, what's up, brother?
What it do?
How you feeling? you know, um, you, I've been on about like different type of like emotions, emotional roller coaster. I mean, it gets so hard because I always felt like connected with my fans. Mm-hmm. And I went through something, and I feel like fans went through something, and people's parents went through something, and it's it really it hurts. It hurts the community. It hurts the city. And it's just been a lot of thoughts. A lot.
Okay. First of all, hold on. Let me come back real quick. I forgot to come on camera. Hold on. Can I do that? Wait. Hi, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Can you guys see that or no? Okay. Sorry, you guys.
Feelings, a lot of grieving, and just trying to get you wrap my head around it. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to be there, and just wish you could just kind of like hold everyone, kind of just heal them, talk to them, have conversations. It just it really just hurts, man.
Okay, first of all, in my personal opinion, he looks discombobulated. He looks very uncomfortable, but in Travis Scott's defense, he is a very uncomfortable guy when it comes to interviews. Second of all, what I want to say, you guys, is Charlemagne the God is in commentary. He has a commentary channel. This is his commentary channel. I will not forget to link this because if I don't, he could strike this. Hopefully he doesn't, but he could. And this is fair use. Let me go ahead and say that again. This is fair use. But he is a interviewer on a channel called The Breakfast Club with two other people. I do watch The Breakfast Club. Charlemagne the God is very controversial, but Travis Scott and Charlemagne the God are friends. Okay? They're friends. So he's very biased going into this interview in the first place. Very biased because he's friends with him. So I want you guys, which probably most people will catch the replay, but I want you guys to pay very close attention to the way Charlemagne the God is asking him these questions, and he has a paper in front of him. Now, Charlemagne the God is he's not new at this. Charlemagne the God, are you new? No, he's not new. He's an interviewer. He's a commentator. He's not new. So why he's holding a piece of paper? Of course, he has questions written down, but that's ridiculous. I feel that it shows his whole disposition right off the bat of this interview because he's holding a piece of paper, and in my opinion, more than likely the piece of paper that he's holding is because the questions that he's asking Travis Scott probably had to be approved. So yeah, I just don't think that, it's just weird to me. His whole disposition is weird. But let's continue.
What's your intention with this conversation? Like what do you hope to get out of this, or what do you hope to get out?
I don't personally have an intention. I just feel like something happened, and I feel like it's just I needed just a way to kind of like communicate, Mm-hmm. One, the families are grieving, it's fans that experienced something, it's fans that came to a show, and I feel like I just have I've always been that person to always see things through. Mm-hmm. With the people that shared experiences with me.
I also want to say that I absolutely love Charlemagne the God. I don't necessarily like his name, but I think he is a very, very handsome man, and he's very educated. He is articulate, and he knows his shit. He knows his shit when it comes to a majority of everything. He's a very educated man and a very good looking man. However, I just feel that someone else should have done this interview. But if Travis Scott, of course, says, okay, I'll just have Charlamagne the God, my friend, interview me. And I just don't think that that was, I don't think that that is a fair way to go about it. I feel like he was very biased coming in. So let's continue.
It just things happen, and I just kind of, it's been such a time, and I've just been trying to just really figure things out.
I know you. I'm sure you experiencing remorse, but was there any hesitation to have this conversation because of the litigation you may be facing?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course you got people that's just like, oh, what, like, but it's not about that. It's you're an artist, whoever people think you are, but at the end of the day, you're a human being, and you have emotions. You want to communicate them emotions, and trying to find the best way to communicate. How you just feeling,
How have you been coping with the aftermath?
That's another thing I want to talk about too. Thank you for bringing that up, Lynn. Something's very weird about the lighting in this interview. It's almost as if he called him up within an hour and Charlamagne the God said, okay, and they just got everything ready. Like there's no lighting. It's just the whole interview itself is just obviously off. And the lighting is just, I don't know. It just seems weird. So I don't know. Not all his interviews are dark like this. I don't understand why it looks like this. This is the only interview that has ever looked like this for Charlamagne the God. And if you go on his channel, you'll see for yourself that it's just weird.
Of everything, just emotionally, just you as a human.
I've been just in a room for a while, a lot of thoughts, and luckily, you have people around that you can kind of bounce ideas, but it just been, I've been doing this for such a long time, and nothing like this ever happened, so it just kind of like you just kind of figuring out, and at the end of the day, like these fans are your family, so you just feel like you lost something, and you you do these shows honestly to for people to have the best experience, and just to think that something like this happened, you just trying to figure out,
I want to get to, yes, it's very dark,
and so
but I want to get to the questions, so I'm going to go through this real quick.
Help others, love each other.
When something is,
us as artists, we trust, professionals to make sure that, things happen and people leave, safely, you know what I'm saying? But, whatever you're told, you know what I'm saying? Whenever somebody tell you to stop, you just stop. But
yeah, I think it's on purpose too, Goose.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yes. Le Labo costs $200. Our version only costs $39.
Acting just literally just to get something to the fans. It's people that showed up.
Do you regret that initial video? Do you regret reacting in that way, or not having all the information before you said something?
I mean, yeah, because you just don't know what's going on. But at the end of the day, I don't. I just wanted to get something out. How my message came out, I can't. I can only go off what I know. But my true intentions of it, was really just trying to get a message across, and really wanted to just touch to the fans, touch to the families, that we here, we grieving, and we'll get through this, through this process.
So what did you know in that first video?
I mean,
this is the first video that he's talking about when he first came out, and he had his hand on his head, and he was basically talking about, how not even regretful, but he just looked like something was off about him. But it's the first video that he did on Instagram after the Astroworld tragedy. And it was obviously very controversial, and everybody was talking about it because he seemed so detached. First of all, he seemed as though he was high. He didn't look like he was remorseful at all. And you're going to see throughout this interview that there are just things that could have been said that he didn't say. So
And at that time, I think we just knew that, people passed. We didn't know how, that it was, the news, I think police came out and said something, you're just going off of what you're seeing in the news, you don't really know nothing. And then as the days go on, you start collecting a little bit more information.
They said there was like chaos and trampling being reported since the early afternoon, like hours before the show even started. Were you informed of any of that ahead of time?
Well, no, the police, he came and to my trailer, and he congratulated me on, the event and, having something like this in Houston. He let me know that it was mishap at the merch booth earlier. They shut it down, but they opened it back up. They seemed to got it under control. He was gonna step out and just let us know if we need anything, have a good show. That was it.
A lot of the criticism, from the tragedy, they say, is in the poor planning and understaffing of the event. As an artist, do you have any involvement in any of that?
Well, I mean, we just do, as an artist, you just do the creative. And for this being my festival, I got, bring artists, creatively produce it. And, we just trust in, the professionals to kind of just make sure that, people, are taken care of.
my problem is you can't get a straight answer out of him. And it's almost as if Charlemagne the God is finishing his sentences for him or something. Like, almost like he's leading him. First of all, he has been caught, Travis Scott, in one lie already because, or at least it's his word against the officer's word, because the sheriff said that he warned Travis Scott before the concert that he didn't like the energy of the crowd. Travis Scott is saying that wasn't said. So, which is it? Basically he's saying that he was not warned. Basically all the sheriff said is made him aware of something that happened in the crowd and then wished him good luck on the concert. But that's not what the sheriff said. The sheriff said that he warned him about the energy of the crowd before the concert even started. So, like I said, which one is it? Because I don't understand.
And, leaving safely. I just can control what I can on the stage, and then you have the professionals control what they can in the crowd. It's just hard because as an artist, you want to have like the best shows and you want to have the best experiences, and you link with professionals to handle that side of it, and then, you want to know what's going on. I think that's what we got to figure out, and figure out what happened there, how it happened,
You spoke on the Houston police chief. His name is Troy Finner. He came to you, and he said he voiced concerns over the crowd energy. So what did you and your team do with that information once you got it?
Well, I think that's what the media, said, but I think it read to more so that he wanted us to. He knew that our crowd was, the type of crowd that comes. It comes at a heavy crowd. So to communicate with him if we were doing anything outside of the week's itinerary, that week we were doing a lot of charity stuff.
Now, see, he's saying that the sheriff didn't say that to him. So basically, either he's lying or the sheriff is lying.
Prior to the festival, so the security at most of the events, but he was just letting us. I guess in that statement he was just saying if we do anything outside of what we had on our itinerary, to let them know. But we didn't even get to that point.
It's crazy. Just being kicking it with you for a little bit, I can see that. This is weighing real heavy on you.
Yeah.
So how much do you feel a sense of responsibility for what happened that night?
Well, fans come to the show and have a good experience, and I have a responsibility to figure out what happened here, I have a responsibility to figure out the solution. And, you know, and I gotta, and hopefully this takes a first step into, you know, us as artists, you know, having that more insight of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the professionals to kind of, you know, surround and figure out more of an intel, whether it's tech, whether it's, you know, more of a response, whether it's whatever the problem is, you know, to figure out that in the future, moving forward in concert safety, make sure this never happen again, you know?
But let's talk about those professionals. Like how much responsibility do you think, like,
Okay, where's the answer here? Charlemagne the God asked him, where do you take responsibility in this? And his answer is he takes responsibility for how it happened and to find a solution. Like all Travis Scott is doing is talking in circles. And I'm disappointed in Charlemagne the God because Charlemagne the God is letting him. He's literally talking in circles. He's not answering direct questions. He's not answering any questions. He's talking in circles. He's talking his way around having to answer that question directly. Instead of saying, yes, I take responsibility for some of this because, you know, my heart and prayers go out to the victims and I feel so bad because, you know, maybe there was more that I could have done, but I seriously couldn't have. I wasn't paying close enough attention, whatever. But instead, he's talking in circles and saying, we need to find a solution to the problem. So basically, I could save myself and save you guys, you know, because there's a whole bunch of people that are live right now. I could save you guys time by watching this interview and saying that basically all Travis Scott is saying is we need to find a solution to the problem. And he's saying, you know, a lot. A lot. If you took a shot every fucking time he says, you know, you would probably have to be in the hospital because he has literally said, you know, like 50 times already since we've been watching this for the past 15 minutes. So we're going to listen to a little bit more and then I want to read some of the comments to you guys and I'm going to give you guys my opinion on why he's not. I guess you guys probably know why he's not answering directly, right? All right.
Live Nation and Score More, the promoters having all this?
I mean, you know, they do their job of, you know, setting these things up. So, I mean, I think, you know, they when we dial into what, you know, specifically happened here, I feel like, you know.
Charlemagne the God asked him about Live Nation. Live Nation is a multi-billion-dollar company. And I'm going to have to say that a lot of the blame is on them. Everyone has a blame in this, but he's asking Travis Scott these direct questions. And all Travis Scott is doing is dancing around every single question. So what was the point of him even doing this interview, in my opinion? Like, you should never have even done this. I feel like he should have just stayed quiet. I feel like this would have benefited him so much more if he just would have stayed quiet and not said anything at all. Because this whole interview was pointless and it only makes him look worse. And the sad part about it is that I know that Travis Scott is not 100% to blame for all of this. I get it, you know, but for goodness sakes, like this interview makes me so mad because I feel like it's a waste of time and he should have just stayed quiet. Like I would have just stayed quiet. I don't know who his PR manager is and the people who encouraged him. Oh yeah, never mind. It's Kris Jenner. And we already know she's the PR master. I don't think that she went the right way with advising him to do this interview, regardless of Charlemagne the God being his friend or not.
Even they can kind of help, you know, figure out what happened in a sense. You know, but at the end of the day, I think collectively, everyone needs to just figure out the bottom line solution. But, you know, especially in concert safety, you know, definitely got to have, you know, make sure that, you know, these things are, you know, done right.
Mm-hmm. You think these festivals are too big, man? 50,000 people is a lot of people for anybody to control.
Yeah, but there are festivals that are bigger,
Mm-hmm.
you know, way bigger. And, you know, I just think it's not about the maximum of it. I think it's about the attention to what's going on, and how it's going on. And as long as that's handled, I feel like, you know, things can be, you know, can go okay, will be okay, you know. But if you look at it through the history of festivals, you know, this isn't the first time happening. There's been a long history of this, you know. So I feel like if you look at the overall, you know, view of that, and you kind of like dial in, okay, what could we do better to fix this overall for general concert safety? I think we figure out the problem, you know, and make it better for people to have better live experiences.
Live Nation reportedly agreed to end the concert early after the Houston PD and the fire department declared it a mass casualty event, but the concert continued for another 40 minutes. Was there ever any communication to you on stage that you should end this?
Well, yeah, I mean, they just told me right after, you know, the guests get off stage, you know, we're going to end the show, you know, and that's what we did. You know, other than that, there was no other communication. You know.
Oh, so you mean after the guests? What you mean?
Yeah, after the guest comes out,
okay,
we're gonna end the show. But it wasn't communication on why. You know, it was just, you know, that's what came through my ears. You know?
Oh, so they didn't say.
Okay. So if that's the case, if that came in through his ear that they told him, so basically after the guest leaves, which was Drake, they're saying after that guest left, after he was done, then the show would be over, but they never told him why. Okay. So obviously that means that those people why did they have to have Drake on as a guest? Why did it end 40 minutes later? That's what I'm saying. There's no answers here. All it is him subtly, very, very subtly blaming other people, but not himself. And if that's the case, then just say it. Then just say, you know, I'm really upset with my team. I'm upset because they didn't handle this right. And I'm the one who gets all the blame for it because I'm the star of the show. You know, it's like, why would they have to have, so you have to have Drake on as a guest before you end the show? Let's let more people get injured and hurt and pass away. God forbid if Drake doesn't fucking perform, right?
Stop now.
It's making me mad, you guys. This is making me mad.
Wow. You feel like people are forcing more responsibility on you because you are the front man, because it was Astroworld?
I literally just said that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm the face of the festival. You know, I'm an artist. You know, so yeah, you know, the media is, you know, they want to, you know, put it on me. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't think it's more so about that. I think it's more so about stepping up to figure out what the problem is. And I could take that. I could take, you know, stepping up to figure out what the problem is. I could take stepping into.
That's all this interview is. He's literally saying, we want to figure out what the problem is to prevent it from happening again. So basically, he's just kind of, I don't know the word that I'm looking for, basically saying in so many words, instead of just blatantly saying, listen, we want to figure out what the problem is so I can get back to doing what I want to do and do my concerts and make my money and get this over with. And there is a $10 billion lawsuit on the line here. $10 billion Travis Scott is being sued for. He wants this all to go away, and it ain't going nowhere because there are people who lost their lives here. This is serious. A 9-year-old little boy is gone because of this. Okay. And yes, there's a lot of people to take the blame for this, not just Travis Scott, but he is still partly to blame, whether he wants to admit it or not. But this interview, in my opinion, especially me being such a great supporter of Charlemagne the God, which I do love Charlemagne the God. I just don't think that this was the right move for him to do this interview, regardless of Travis Scott being his friend or not. I just don't think that he shouldn't have done this, because why? What's the point of interviewing somebody and not being able to get any kind of answers? Yes, it's $10 billion now. $10 billion. Like, the point of an interview is to get some kind of answers, to get some kind of closure. Nothing happened here. So we're going to listen to a little bit more. No, you don't need to get a mod. You don't need to be a mod, Donovan, because there's not even that many people on here right now. So you don't need to be a mod. Next time, when there's more people on here, I will make you a mod. Okay? That's my son, you guys. Donovan, you are supposed to be sleeping. You are in big trouble. Donovan, go to sleep. I'm very glad this isn't going away. There isn't a price on a person's life. Absolutely. And people blame the parent for that little boy's death when the concert was for all ages. Exactly, Jennifer K. And thank you guys for being here. I know that there's a lot of people live I'm missing. I've wanted to watch John Hinch live tonight. And he's live the same time that I am, but I couldn't not do this live because I had to do it. Okay. Let me finish on with this, and let me go yell at my son real quick. Hold on, because he knows I'm gonna get him. Donovan, you go to sleep. Put the phone down and go to sleep. There's not that many people on tonight. Next time, if there's a lot of people on, you can mod. Okay, you guys, sorry about that. Okay, we're going to listen to this for 2 more minutes, and then he's a funny kid. He's like my bestest friend, but he's supposed to be sleeping, but he took a nap today, you guys, so that's why. No, he didn't even take a nap.
And dialing more into that,
but his friends came over today, and he had a really, really good day.
I think I feel like there is a way.
When I get a migraine, I shut out the world. But with Nurtec ODT, that's all behind me now.
Nurtec can treat
Okay,
and
migraines. I need to go get some
needs to be
medicine for
times.
migraines. Okay, like, I heard you can get Botox for migraines. I just want to get Botox and say I have migraines just to try Botox. But that's another freaking video, you guys. All right, let's continue this for a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to read some of the comments, and I'm going to come on here, okay?
Figuring that out.
Have you been able to have any personal conversations with any of the families who lost loved ones?
I was able to, but I just want to respect the privacy of the conversation, and I'm thankful for them for even allowing me to have the conversation. So, yeah.
How did you feel when some of the families rejected your offer to pay for the funerals?
A majority of the families that he offered to pay for their funeral to make things right did reject him, but of course they're going to reject him, because if they were to take that offer, then they wouldn't be able to sue him, and sue everyone else involved. So they couldn't. A majority of the families rejected his offer for help. So, and for those of you that didn't know, and also for those of you who did not know, that you guys know how he gave refunds to everyone who was at Astroworld, but there was a stipulation in small print of those refunds that people don't know about, which is on the bottom in fine print. It says that if you accept this refund, that pretty much not relinquishes or whatever, but basically in small print, it says, if you accept this refund for the Astroworld concerts, then you are basically not allowed to sue. So most of the people who took the refund probably didn't see that in fine print. But yeah, some people didn't know that.
All things are understandable, and at a time they're grieving and they're trying to find understanding, and they want answers, and it's not about that. I'm always gonna be here, to want to help them. You know what I'm saying? And it's not gonna I gotta continue to just show up for that. I just wanted to make sure that they knew that I was there for them. You know what I mean? And continue to be there for them. I think that's just more so what it's about for that. Yeah.
Some people say your music played a role in this. Like I've seen them, cite lyrics, that encourage this kind of behavior. I've seen them say your music is demonic and this was a satanic ritual. You think your music is to blame?
I mean, no. I'm a man of God. So that's the first thing first. And
Stop. You guys know I'm going to say something about this. You can say that you are a man of God. I can sit here and say that I'm a woman of God. But let me tell you something. If your actions don't show that you are a man/woman of God, then you're not a man of God. Okay? It is very blatantly obvious that there was some very, very demonic things happening in that concert. Okay? And I could definitely, and I just have to figure out a way of how to explain it. But there are a lot of things that were happening in that concert that is not godly. Okay. And there are a lot of things that he says in his lyrics that is not coming from a man of God. You have to practice what you preach. You cannot say that you're a man of God, but then in the same breath in your music, talk about demonic things. So I'm going to have to say that he shouldn't have said that, because when you have all of these kinds of demonic things and you have a shirt where they're walking in a tunnel and they're coming in one way and coming out as demons, and just a lot of these demonic things that you've seen, and in my opinion, when it comes to Travis Scott, I feel like he's been playing with people's lives for a very long time here with these raves. Now, don't get me wrong, people do raves. It's not just him. It is mostly raves come from rage, whatever you call them. They come from, rock music mostly, but now it's starting to be more incorporated into rap music, which is fine. I think it's great. But when you are praising people for getting hurt in raves and you are on interviews saying, I want to see blood, or when you are pretty much telling your audience to defy and go against security, telling people to jump from 3-story, like, there's just, your actions don't speak that you are a man of God, and actions speak louder than words. If you are a man of God, you wouldn't have had demonic things in that concert, period. Okay? You didn't have no crosses in that concert. You had nothing but demonic. You can't deny the fact that you had demonic things in your concert. Like, that's ridiculous.
So it's just, yeah, that's that. And, your music is just like self-expression, you know what I'm saying? And at these shows, I feel like people kind of like look at things, and if you've been to Travis shows, it's been different layers of shows,
Mm-hmm.
I think people are just, misconceptions and taking things they're seeing, and, all type of things, and I've took pride in trying to, grow from where I was when I first recorded music to now where I'm going in music. So yeah, I just think people gotta, and that's one thing with me is just people got to kind of experience it sometimes. And I think that's what it was. People were kind of like, even before, people were hearing about it and they come and experience it and taking away their own thing. And it's always going to be an outside opinion. But, for the ones that, really believe in me and, understand what I'm about and what I'm doing, no, that's not what I'm, preaching. I always preach like love, always preach understanding, always preach, take care of your loved ones, love each other. You know what I'm saying? Get out your ideas. Never let yourselves be stopped. Love one another and step into that.
I think that's.
I'm sorry, but raves have nothing to do with loving one another. Raves are people bashing into each other.
A part of it, but the music does encourage people to be violent.
It does. At least that's one honest thing that Charlemagne the God has said. That's straightforward. Raves do not encourage love. They don't encourage people to go hugging each other. Okay?
I mean, that's what the rage is about.
I mean, most of the music is me sometimes talking about what I see at the shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I'm talking about the shows, and so that's just, the energy, you know what I'm saying? But the energy isn't to come and start, being ultra violent and just being violent and hurting each other. That's not what it's about.
Here's what $5 a month with Lemonade covers.
So when he says he wants to see blood,
it's everything.
What does that mean? When you say you want to see blood, does that mean that I'm starting to feel like secondhand embarrassment for him because he's really making no sense at all. Like at all.
It's, and it's about what you experience at the, at the shows and what you see,
Will this change the content of your music moving forward, you think?
What happened here wasn't off Travis Scott music.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't, oh, now you need to like switch up. No, I mean, I've made all different type of music in the first place, I've never was just like one lane or one genre of anything. Yeah, right. It's the only one I saw. And then, when I seen the lights in the back, I just double checked, make sure everyone was okay. I got a response that everyone was okay. Yeah.
How normal is that to see ambulances and everything else at these festivals?
Well, it was lights. So, and ambulances don't really have like red and blue lights,
so you thought it was...
I don't, you don't know. You just looking at his lights. That's why I asked. I'm just like, yo, is it an ambulance? It's like, what's going on? You don't know if it's like somebody got some lights up there doing some turn. You don't know, but, I didn't get a response. So, you got a response from the fans, I asked everyone to put their hand up. And then, didn't get a response from anything else. So just carried on.
Does it make you feel judged when you see videos, circulating of other artists stopping their shows, like to check on fans since Astroworld? It's almost like the insinuation from other artists is that, like, you didn't do enough, so we don't want to be like Travis.
I take it as, they're just taking extra precautions, because it might not have been something that, was running through their mind at time before, and they're just taking extra precautions.
Whoops.
To, make sure they don't run through the same problems.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I can commend them for that. I've always done the same thing, in my prior shows. And
this was a very big mistake. I have caught him in just so many. Okay. Let's go down here for a second, and I want to read a couple of these comments, okay? Now, the reason why I want to read some of these comments is because I like to see what other people want to say. You know what I mean? Okay. So I'm not going to read any names or anything, but it says, I want to say that I'm sorry to each and every family that lost a life due to his concert. I'm sorry you have to go through this pain of never seeing your loved ones again. I'm sorry they had to pass in this tragic way. I'm sorry that you have not yet got the closures that you all need during this hard time. I'm sorry it had to turn out like this. For every dark night, there's a brighter day, and this will come to light. God is with you all. That was beautiful. I'm going to read a couple more. I still can't get out of my head. I watched a 16-year-old girl next to me get trampled on, screaming for help, only for it to be drowned out by music, the ambulance lights, the crowds, the crushing. It all happened so fast, and that's when I fell unconscious. Next thing, I wake up in a paramedic stretcher. After days of being in the hospital, I finally flew home. To this day, I can never think of a more terrifying way to go, especially a claustrophobic one. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I am very, very, very claustrophobic. My boyfriend, we were going into the car wash today, and literally I told him, let me out of the car before you go into that car wash, because one time he went into the car wash, this was probably a month ago, and literally I thought I was going to die. I'm so claustrophobic. I cannot be in car washes. Like, I'm just very, very claustrophobic. So I couldn't imagine how those, like, if I was in that crowd, you guys, I don't think I would have made it, because I'm so claustrophobic that I would have panicked. Imagine people who are claustrophobic and cannot be in enclosed spaces like that. So, yeah, it's my heart. Go.
Since when were you claustrophobic?
Get out. And you're grounded tomorrow.
No, please, okay.
Go.
Okay.
You think everything's a game. Sorry, you guys. He is in big trouble. Okay, I'm going to read some more. Okay, actions speak much louder than words. You have encouraged a lot of wild behavior with crowds so large that security really can't do anything about it. At the same time, I do understand wanting to have a wild show experience for yourself and everyone else. I don't know, man. A few times you have encouraged things that mess people up, which are your fans, your people. You can't be so damn careless with the amount of people you pull into a live shows. When this shit gets out of hand, it's a wrap. Rest in peace to the lives that were lost. And I hope Travis honestly feels bad for the way things went down. And I hope he's not just playing politics like most celebrities do. I don't know, man. It's crazy. When he talked about there being a lot of grieving and having wanted to be there to hold and have conversations with the victims, I gasped at how insincere that was, especially with how much those words clash with what he's actually been like. This isn't an interview. It's a prepared statement from his lawyers. There is no way in hell his lawyers would have agreed to this actual interview this early into the lawsuits. I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree. This was just ridiculous. Being apologetic most, especially to the victims and their families, is the only thing needed. Takes 10 seconds. Doesn't mean you've incriminated yourself. It means you're being human. If performers have an in-ear headphones, I don't understand why the security doesn't get looped into the audio setup to be able to tell an artist to stop the set at any time to deal with issues. Ideally, if they were talking about sustainable solutions, regardless of who is truly accountable, there needs to be a way for security professionals to be able to tell artists to stop the show in between songs. I don't know what that would entail from the technological audio standpoint, but I feel if security teams were able to get in an artist's ear and say, stop the show, people are getting hurt, it would at least make it possible to ensure proper communication. If an artist then chooses to keep going and disregard their instructions, then the artist becomes accountable for what happens if they choose not to do anything. That way, there is a clear indication of what happened and a clear record of what an artist knew in terms of the security. I agree with that. Okay, fun fact. If you edit out every time Travis says you know, this 51-minute interview is actually 5 minutes long. That was funny. I want to see somebody come in defense of him. So hold on real quick, you guys. Okay, let's read this one. Travis just dug himself into a deeper hole with this one. Not only were his answers so insincere and emotionless, but he beat around the bush and straight up lied on several occasions. This man said he only saw lights and that he didn't realize ambulances had blue and red lights. Meanwhile, he's on camera calling out the ambulance during the set. I'm not a huge fan, but I do enjoy his music. He really let a lot of people down with this one. Most importantly, the victims and their loved ones. Save yourself 51 minutes of your life. This interview has little to no substance. Yep, I agree. Okay, let's read one more. Okay. I'm sorry, but I will never get over the evil, hell, demonic vibes that were at this man's concert that night. You cannot tell me something evil was not going on that night. Just looking at the stage felt like the gates of hell. Not to mention the huge fires, the dead projected silhouette bodies walking on top of the stage, which seemed to be sacrificed bodies walking to hell, him humming as he started at I think she meant stared. Him humming as he stared at a dead corpse being dragged through the audience, appearing like sacrifice. The descriptions, all the people who were there gave out about the feeling suffocating, passed out, and feeling like they were actually in hell that night. And also the cover of his album looking like a literal demon. And him having "See You on the Other Side" written on it. Everything about this makes me feel very weird inside, and my gut doesn't feel good about any of it. And we're going to read this last one. 50,000 fans attend a Pearl Jam concert on June 30th, 2000, which ended with 8 people dying at that concert, another person dying later on. It was the worst crowd surge tragedy at a concert in history until Travis Scott's Astroworld incident. Go watch Travis Scott's most recent music video that he released days before the tragedy and notice he was wearing a Pearl Jam shirt throughout the music video. Of all the bands in the world, he ends up wearing a Pearl Jam shirt. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I got to look into that. You guys, don't let me forget about that. There's not that many of you in here right now. Don't let me forget about that because I need to do some research on that. That's fucking crazy. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to come on here and give my opinion, and then we're going to wrap this up. Let me see. Hold on. Is John Hinge still alive? Hold on. I think he is. Yes. Okay. Hi, you guys. I'll try to write it down. I'm not going to write it down now, but okay. Here's what I got to say about this shit. Yes, please text it to me because I will forget. I'm forgetful right now. I don't remember shit. Like my life being sick, you just can't remember stuff. Okay. So here's what I want to say. I'm going to start by saying something in Travis Scott's defense, okay? In Travis Scott's defense, I don't blame him for all of this, okay? I also think that is that you? I'll check it later, but thank you if you sent it to me. Okay. In Travis Scott's defense, and this is a live that I was going to do a while ago, but you guys know what I'm going through right now. But in his defense, I don't blame him for everything, and I do think that he is being very, very crucified. I do. I don't blame him for every single thing that's going on, and I also feel like he has definitely I feel like the people who are affiliated with him and who were involved in this concert is kind of letting him take the fall for everything. And I'm talking about thank you, Goose. And I'm talking about Live Nation. I'm talking about Apple. They were involved in it. There are so many people that were involved in this concert besides Travis Scott. And I feel like a lot of people are crucifying Travis Scott, and even though a lot of this is his fault, there is a lot of fault to go around, and it's not just all on him. And another thing, too, is Travis Scott doing the things that he did in the past, and I understand the things that he's done in the past was 100% wrong. But I think some of you people who keep talking about Travis Scott and crucifying him, one of the things that you're forgetting is Travis Scott is very young. Okay. Not that I'm saying that that justifies anything, but what I'm saying is most of the things that he has done, referring to in the past. Thank you, Stina. Hopefully I said your name right. Most of the things that he has done in the past, you guys keep bringing up his past. He did those things because I feel like he wanted to relate to his audience. He wanted his audience to look at him as if he was equal and, you know, go past security and do this and do that and blah, 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 blah. Raging, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's nothing new. This has been going on forever. Okay. And yes, Travis Scott was wrong, 100% wrong. But I don't like the way he's taking the fall. First of all, Travis Scott did not create that stage. And the way that the stage was created, the way the whole venue was created was so not right. And it was the wrong protocol for how many people who were there. You see Live Nation being quiet, a multi-billion-dollar company, and they've gotten in multiple lawsuits before, okay? And what do? Well, they're a billion-dollar company. They just throw people cash. That's what they do, okay? But they're being quiet. Apple's being quiet. So many people are being quiet right now. And Travis Scott is the only one who everybody's crucifying. And I don't like that. I don't agree with that. And I honestly, and I'm not going to turn it into any kind of race thing or anything like that. I just feel like it is wrong for people to just constantly be blaming him because there is so much blame to go around. Okay. And I also feel like people need to start taking accountability because Travis Scott is the only one. First of all, Travis Scott isn't really taking any accountability, but I feel like Travis Scott is the only one that people are just crucifying, but they're not talking about anything else. A lot of these commentators, they're not talking about Live Nation, which I want to do, and I will. I'm going to do a live about them because people need to know about Live Nation and how shady they are. Apple, so many people who are involved, but yet everyone is just focusing on Travis Scott. And I don't agree with that at all. Okay. Next thing that I want to say is that Travis Scott took no accountability. Okay. No accountability in this at all, in this interview. But here's the thing. he shouldn't have done the interview in the first place, because he can't take any accountability, you guys. He can't say anything. He can't even say, I'm sorry. People are like, I've never heard him say sorry, not even once in this interview. He can't. He is in a $10 billion lawsuit. He can't say anything. He can't take any responsibility for anything that happened at that concert. All he could do is what his PR team trained him to do, and probably trained him and had him take multiple classes before he even went to that interview. Okay, he was fully prepared to dance around every single thing that Charlemagne the God asked him, because he can't say sorry. He's not. If he says sorry, that means he's admitting guilt. And if he's admitting guilt, guess what? He don't have $10 billion. Okay? He doesn't have that money. Yeah, he was wrong, but not the only one. I agree as well. And if everyone would be 100% honest, they would say the same, I think. Exactly. Good. I'm glad I said your name right, Stina. I didn't want to get it wrong. He can't say anything that's admitting guilt. Exactly. And that's what I'm just trying to say. He cannot admit, or he can't say, I'm sorry. He can't say, I take full accountability for this situation. I take account. He cannot say anything. All he can say is what he said, which is, we just want to find a solution to the problem. He's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. Exactly. And I am not in defense of Travis Scott. To me, this interview was pointless. I don't understand why he did it. I think it was stupid. I think he should have just kept quiet. He would have been better off keeping quiet. I feel like it hurt him more than it helped him, because now people are walking around saying he didn't take any accountability. He didn't even say he was sorry. But it's very, very obvious that he can't apologize for anything. That is like the number one rule that an attorney tells you when you are in a lawsuit. Do not apologize. Do not take accountability for anything, because none of this is your fault. He filed a motion for the lawsuits to be dismissed, you guys. Do you really think that he is going to take accountability? Yes. There are lives lost, and my heart and prayers go out to every family, everyone who was hurt, every victim, everyone who was at that concert, who is going to go through PTSD probably for the rest of their lives for this. I can't imagine, nor do I want to imagine, what the victims, what the families who lost loved ones to this concert is going through. But Travis Scott is not going to throw himself under the bus and admit to anything and have to pay millions of dollars to different families. He's not going to do it. Do you guys really think that he is going to sacrifice his whole career and him being a multi-millionaire for people that he doesn't even know? Yes, it's sad to him, I'm sure, that people are gone, but he don't care. What he cares about is he is in a $10 billion lawsuit, and he wants it to go away. Yes, rest in peace to all the victims. My heart and prayers go out to all the victims, like I said, anybody who was there. But what I'm trying to say is I'm keeping it real, and this is reality. Travis Scott is not going to take any accountability for anything. He is not going to apologize. He is not going to throw himself under the bus so he can have to pay millions of dollars and go broke to all of these families who lost their loved ones. He's just not going to do it. Now, to me, and that's also me talking about the lawsuit, what I will say is talking about the lawsuit is that some of these people who are filing lawsuits need to be vetted. Are they vetting people accurately that are filing for lawsuits? Because I don't like how, hold on, you guys. I gotta get a sip of water here. Sorry, my nose is so stuffy. I don't like how all of these attorneys are, advertising. Did you get hurt at Astroworld? Blah, 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 blah. You got all of these, these lawsuits, but a lot of these people need to be vetted, because let me tell you something. Some of these people that are in these lawsuits, you guys, are people that were a part of the rave, dancing on ambulance trucks, trampling over people to get to Travis Scott. Let's keep it real here. We're not just going to talk about Live Nation, Travis Scott, okay, Apple, everyone who was involved, Drake, but let's talk about the people who attended the fucking concert. They are to blame too. Some of those people at that concert, were acting fucking ridiculous. All of these people who are in lawsuits, let me tell you something. Some of these people who are suing Travis Scott are the same damn people who were trampling over people on the floor to get to Travis Scott. Okay? That's my opinion, and you don't have to like it either. And most of the people are going to watch the replay. You can go ahead and not like it either, and that's fine. I'm open to hear what anybody has to say. But what I'm trying to say is, where's the accountability here? There are people who are not being vetted accurately. All they're doing is looking for, money. These attorneys aren't vetting every single person who's coming and claiming, I have PTSD, I have this, I have that. I'm sorry, I don't like that shit. I just don't like that. Yes, this is America, and the people who are victims and who were hurt and who suffered and everything like that, they deserve to get money for their pain, 100%. But what I will say is that there are some people who don't deserve anything, because they were the same people who were fighting and trampling over people on the ground, dancing on ambulance trucks to get to Travis Scott. And those people do not deserve any money. Let's take accountability all the way around here. And every single person at that concert is not innocent. That's just ridiculous. All you had to do, the concert should have been canceled when everyone was breaking in through security to get to the damn concert. Like, half those people that were in there, they should have canceled it then. They couldn't control those people like wild animals. They couldn't even control them. That's when the concert should have been canceled, to be honest with you. It should have been canceled before it even started, for the way that those people were acting. It is. It's a very difficult situation, but at the end of the day, I understand exactly. It should have been stopped in the very beginning. They should have stopped it when all those people were running past security. The police thought, because all those people that were running past the security, you cannot tell me that there was only 50,000 people at that concert. There were more than 50,000 people there. Try maybe 100,000 people there. Maybe even more than that. They need to verify people who are suing actually purchased tickets and weren't the people who... Exactly, Stina. I just, I don't think that, and that's the way attorneys are, you guys. Come on, let's admit it. A lot of attorneys, some of the attorneys should be vetted too, if you really want to be honest, because a lot of the attorneys, they just want money too. You know what I mean? They see this as, the jackpot. They hit the jackpot here, So a lot of these attorneys are basically trying to get money. So they're just going to take whoever it was at that concert, because it's obviously going to be hard to prove who was acting appropriately and who wasn't, or whatever. But the point is are they vetting these people who are coming and claiming, I have PTSD, blah, 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 blah? which are the very same people who were trampling over others to get to Travis Scott, dancing on ambulance trucks, hanging from trees. Like, that whole concert was ridiculous before it even started. They get 1/3 of whatever their client gets. So, of course, they just think of dollar signs. Right. It's just dollar signs to them. If an attorney files a class action, they get 50% of the settlement, which is a huge in this case. Exactly. So, of course, like, this is the jackpot to a lot of these attorneys. This is what a lot of attorneys have been praying for. And it doesn't matter who comes to them. All they have to do is say, I am suffering from PTSD. Shit, I could go there and go to Texas and say that shit, and they probably would accept me. Okay? They probably wouldn't even ask me, do you have proof that you're at the concert? No, I don't have proof. I just have PTSD. Are you going to take on my case or not? Okay? Oh, shit. Yes, I made it live. Hey, Gen X, how are you, beautiful? It's good to see you, sweetie. But yeah, I know it's 1/3 because that's what I had to pay my attorney for my lawsuit. Right. Oh yeah, these attorneys are getting paid. Like I said, this is what a lot of attorneys have been praying for. That's why they're advertising. Have you been heard at Astroworld? Call this number, and they have all these lawsuits, $10 billion, like, Travis Scott, I'm sorry, he's not going to apologize for anything. Anytime you apologize, you are admitting to guilt. And if he was to even apologize even once in that interview, he would be done. He wouldn't even, and especially because he filed a motion for it to be dismissed. It's like, girl, it's been a wild ride lately. You doing okay? Please tell me you didn't catch the road. No. I've been sick with, like, first it kind of started off as a stomach flu, and then my nose was stuffy, and I had headache, but I didn't have any temperatures or anything like that. It started off with my oldest son, and then it kind of trickled on down to me, everybody in the house, pretty much. But no, it's not that. I haven't talked about it, but I know what the C word is, because when it first came out, before Trump even admitted to it, I had it. So I know what that feels like, and that's not what I have. I had it. This was, and what's crazy is I usually get like a cold or something the same time every year, but when the C word, I don't even like saying it, when the C word came out, we didn't know about it yet. Trump ended up admitting to it in January, and my family, all of us, had it in December. So we were probably, may have been some of the first people who actually got it, but I know that's what it was, because I never felt like that before in my life. And I'll do a live about that too. It was the worst feeling I had ever felt in my life. And you guys, I didn't even go to the hospital. Like, because I didn't know what it was. I just thought that it was a cold. I thought I had a bad cold. But after I was sick for about 2 weeks, my boyfriend was like, babe, you need to go to the hospital, because it was the worst cough I ever had. And right when I was about to go to the hospital, the next day I felt better, like instantly. And then that's when Donald Trump announced, that's when it first started coming out. And then I'm like, that's what we had. So I know what that feels like. And no, that's not what I have. The attorneys jumped on this faster than the ones who were getting the people at the Route 91 concert in Vegas. That was quick to turn around too. Right. Like, so many attorneys, like I said, this is their answered prayers. Okay. attorneys were praying for something like this to happen. I'm sorry, but they were, because this is money, you know what I mean? And in my personal opinion, I think that um a majority of the time these usually get settled. You know, like there comes to some certain settlements, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, especially since Travis Scott filed a motion to dismiss, but regardless, I mean, it's just that's usually what Live Nation does. Live Nation has been sued before multiple times. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, and what have they done to get rid of it and to keep people quiet? They just settled. And to me, that could end up being the same thing. And if it gets settled, that's still guaranteed money for these attorneys and everyone who's involved. I feel like victims and people who lost, you know, their loved ones, 10 people, they're gone now, you know, and it's so sad and it breaks my heart. And I feel like no matter what, no amount of money is going to um help these families. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to be grieving for the rest of their lives. I know grief. And let me tell you something, it doesn't go away, you know? I could have sued the doctors who I could have sued the doctor who did this to my mom, but I didn't, you know, because at the end of the day, that's not going to solve anything. It's not going to make the pain go away, you know? Oh, gotcha. The cold and flu is running rampant here. Yes, I believe that 100%. I had so many people around me as far back as September, October that had the exact same symptoms. Okay, catching up. I'm glad you're here, Gen X. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I know what that feels like. And let me tell you, I don't ever want to have that feeling again. It was just horrible. And how I feel now is nothing like that. Nothing like that. I mean, I still feel sick, but mostly just tired. And it's been a crazy couple of months, you guys. You know, like I said, the holidays are really, really hard for me. I don't even I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be around nobody. I just plaster a smile on my face for my kids, but it's very hard because, you know, the holidays are just not the same without my mom. And I just kind of push myself, and it's just been so hard for me to stay consistent. And like I told you guys with YouTube, their algorithm is so different. It's not forgiving. So when you're gone, like if I was to just forget about YouTube for a couple weeks or 3 weeks or whatever and not come on here at all, it would be really bad for me, you know? So I kind of have to push myself to come on here, because even the week that I have been gone, it's like you're starting all over again with algorithm, because it's almost like they knock you off the algorithm if you've been gone for a week or two. That's just how it's so different than versus Facebook or Instagram. Like when you're gone for a week or a week and a half here on YouTube, their algorithm kind of just throws you off and it doesn't notify people, and it's just you're starting all over again, and that's kind of what I have to do now. But it is what it is. I'm not worried about that, because that's just not something that I worry about. You have to focus on your content, and you know the right people come when they find you, you know. And the right people are here with me now, and that's all I care about. But that's pretty much all I want to say about that, because a lot of people keep talking about how, you know, Travis Scott did not once say that he was sorry. He did not once say that, you know, he felt any kind of remorse, which he did. He did admit that he was, you know, remorseful and things like that. But, you know, a lot of people are, you know, not understanding why he's not apologizing. And I'm here to say that he is not going to apologize. You are not going to get an apology out of Travis Scott. If he apologizes, he's admitting to guilt. And if he's admitting to guilt, then he might as well just go and hand all of his money over, split his money in half and hand it over to every single attorney, because that's just how it's going to end up. You cannot be in a $10 billion lawsuit and go on an interview and apologize, and even, to be honest with you, even to be empathetic. Like, it doesn't work that way. So all we can do is continue to pray for the victims, continue to pray for the people who are there. And I pray for Travis Scott too, because at the end of the day, I do feel bad for him. I would have liked to see some emotion too. Actions speak louder than words. He could have at least had some emotion. But what I will say is that I feel bad for Travis Scott to a certain extent, because to me, him being an artist, he just got way in over his head. Everything that he encouraged, the years of raving, the years of encouraging his fans to defy security and to just let loose. And, he also encourages smoking, substances, marijuana, different things like that. He encourages all those things. And he just got way in over his head. Everything that he encouraged up until this point, it blew up in his face. Everything that he had done blew up in his face. I also think, in my personal opinion, that he played with some magic too. And I think that blew up in his face as well. And I feel bad for him because he's young and he's not using his head. He was thinking very irresponsibly throughout his career, and it caught up to him. And it doesn't happen to very many artists, but I feel like he's so young and so irresponsible that that's just the way that it works. Eventually karma's going to come and bite you in the ass eventually. It's life. But at the same time, I can't look at him and feel bad for him without thinking about the people who lost their loved ones in this tragedy, which breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because you got to think that these people were just coming to a concert to have a good time. This 9-year-old little boy, he's gone now. Now, there are some people who are blaming Ezra Blount, may he rest in peace. He was the youngest who passed. He was on life support for, I think, like a week or maybe a couple weeks, and then he ended up losing his battle because his kidneys, everything was damaged. He was trampled on. But see, here's the thing, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys. He should never have been at that concert, you guys, and that's just my opinion. Okay, if he was going to be, that concert, I guess, was for everyone, and it was also for children. Okay, I get it. Then you keep him away, take him to the Ferris wheel, rides. You could still hear the concert, I'm sure, throughout the fair, or you could have stood back. No way, you guys, should he have been in that crowd, period. Now, I will tell you guys this. With this 9-year-old's father, he said that his 9-year-old is a big fan of Travis Scott, and I'm sure he was. But so was his dad. His dad was a fan of Travis Scott too. And do you want to know what else? Ezra Blount, I'm sorry if I'm saying his last name wrong, but Ezra's father has Travis Scott tattooed on his arm, you guys. He was a big fan of Travis Scott. Okay. So obviously he's a huge fan of Travis Scott, and I'm sure his little guy was too. But at the same time, people are not acknowledging, because you here, I keep it real. You don't like it? Oh well. Teaya keeps it real. You want to hear what's real? This is where you're going to hear it. Ezra's father was a huge fan of Travis Scott and Astroworld. So therefore, he was there for Travis Scott, and I'm sure his son is a fan too. But why was his son on his shoulders? Why? I don't, something's not right about that, you guys. And I'm not going to go too much into it until it's just, it's, you have to think of the weight of a 9-year-old boy, you guys. Hey Carrie, how are you, sweetheart? You have to think of a 9-year-old boy and what he weighs. Okay, he had him on his shoulders, his 9-year-old. Okay, and then he passed out, and then what I don't understand is when he passed out, he woke up and his son wasn't there. But when he passed out, how come he didn't get hurt? Listen, all I'm going to tell you guys is I'm not blaming his father in any way, shape, or form. But let's be real here. His father has to bear some responsibility for having his child in such a dangerous situation. Okay? I didn't think the boy who died was on his dad's shoulders. I thought that was the younger kid who wasn't hurt. No, the Ezra, and Blount, I think I'm saying his last name Blount. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, but he was on his dad's shoulders. Yes, the one who passed. But what I'm saying is that there are a lot of things that aren't being said, and that one thing is, it wasn't just his little boy who was a big fan of Travis Scott. So was the dad. He has Astroworld tattooed on his arm. So obviously he was a big fan of Travis Scott as well. And to me, if I was to take my child to a festival like that, I would never, ever have taken him in that situation. Never. I would never take any of my kids in that situation. Now, if we're at the festival and they want to hear Travis Scott, okay, you can hear him. Like, we'll stand all the way in the back, away from the crowd. His father has to bear some responsibility to hear you guys. You know, it is what it is. I know that it sucks, and I'm not blaming his dad in any way, shape, or form as far as taking his child to have fun at a festival, but he does have some responsibility for putting his child in that dangerous situation. Okay, there was too many people there. No way should his son have been on his shoulders, and no way should he have put his child in that situation, period. And that's my opinion, and other people are entitled to theirs. But regardless, there's so much blame to go around here, and I feel like people are kind of not spreading the blame around. All they're talking about is Travis Scott, Travis Scott. Well, guess what? Travis Scott is not the one who designed that venue. Okay? Travis Scott has a lot of blame, but so do other people as well, you guys. So do other people, especially even the people who were there and the way that they were acting. Not everyone who attended that concert is innocent either. No, they didn't expect for this shit to happen, but it only happened because of the way everyone was acting. That's why this happened. If people would have been more courteous and more kind to their fellow neighbor, or whatever you want to call it, this would not have happened. It was the people who made the concert this way. And it was also Travis Scott encouraging his fans to defy authority. Yeah, Live Nation, they're shady. And we'll get more into that too. Plus, he's making it seem like he wasn't there for him, and he was. He was there for himself. He might have been there for his son, you guys. Okay? But Ezra Blount, may he rest in peace. My goodness sakes, it just breaks my heart that he's gone and that he had to leave in this horrible situation. But his dad was a huge fan of Travis Scott. And that might have been the reason why he wanted to be in that crowd. That might be the reason why he was in that situation in the first place. And he put his son in that situation. And he is to blame as well. He has some kind of responsibility for what happened to his son. He endangered his own son, you guys. And that's not right. Let's just keep it real here, okay? Yes, the encouragement by Travis Scott wasn't good. That put that part right after the ambulance was creepy as fuck. Middle finger, shake the ground. Yeah, I agree. And I'm just the type of person where I'm going to keep it real. And I've done research. I see things for what they are. And I'm going to say how I feel. And that a lot of the people there are to blame for a lot of this too. Okay. You can't just sit there and blame one person for hundreds of thousands of people. You just can't. Yes, Carrie, there was so many creepy things, so much, so much demonic things, just like Travis Scott saying he's a man of God. Sorry, no, your actions speak way different than that. And like I said, in my personal opinion, Travis Scott was playing with some magic too. I really think so. And the fact that how is that that is so weird how he had a Pearl Jam shirt on and then he has this concert and this happens and that happened at the Pearl Jam concert. That's just crazy to me and I'm going to do more research on it and we will talk about that. But that's frigging bass beat before the concert started. Right. That's what I'm saying. I can't help but think about those people who were under everybody. And then he says that, and more people start getting squished and suffocated. Such a terrible way to die. It's like drowning. It is. And if you, like most of the people there were saying that it was like you were in water. You know what I'm saying? Like it was going in rotation as if you were in water. It's literally like you're drowning. Like I said, I'm claustrophobic. And a lot of those people, you have Travis Scott having people hold their hands up in the air. Imagine all of those people tightly impacted against each other. And if you can't breathe, the last thing you'd want to do is put your hands up in the air, you guys. If you can't breathe, oh my goodness, having your hands up in the air, most of the people said wherever they had their hand is where it had to stay because that's how impacted, how on top of each other everyone was. So all of those people were literally like, wherever your hand was, that's where it had to stay. So imagine the people who put their hands up in the air because you want to keep your hands like next to you when you can't breathe to protect your ribs. So yeah, no. It would have freaked I would have freaked the fuck out. The thought. Yeah, I would have had a panic attack and passed out because I can't be in claustrophobic situations because I'm very claustrophobic. So I wouldn't have made it. I know I can tell you that right now. I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't even want to think about it. Oh my gosh, it's the most horrible feeling ever. Like ever. So literally, you guys, there's a lot of blames go around here, but to me, I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm glad you guys are here with me. Thank you for joining me. That interview was ridiculous. Thank you for letting me come on here and pour my feelings out about the situation. Because I was definitely a fan of Travis Scott. Like, I didn't like listen to his music like that. But my little guy listened to some of his music, and I could tolerate his music. Like, I liked a few songs. Like, I liked Goosebumps. So there were some songs of his that I liked, but I just think that he's just young and he has a lot of learning to do. Everyone deserves a second chance. There's a lot of ways that I look at this, but I am a realist, and I feel like there's a lot of blame to go around here, and I don't like the fact that people aren't holding everyone involved with this concert accountable, and that is starting with Live Nation, um, Apple. There's other people who are involved, besides Travis Scott. Yes, he is to blame, but so are others. And also, let's hold some of the people at the concert accountable too, because let's be real here, a lot of those people were acting like animals and literally seemed as though they had no regard for human life, and all they cared about was getting close to Travis Scott. And as far as the victims and things like that, no one deserves to have to go through that. No one deserves to see that. And there are so many people, like I said, who are going to have to deal with PTSD. And my heart and prayers go out to everyone. And especially people who have lost a loved one over a concert, you guys. Just imagine, over a concert. And like I said, but there are some stories that go deeper. And even though there is a $10 billion lawsuit, a lot of the people who are involved with these lawsuits need to be vetted accurately, in my opinion. And I also feel like with Ezra, the 9-year-old, may he rest in peace. And I'll continue to say that because my heart just hurts for his family, his mother, because I can't imagine how his mother must feel. His whole family losing such an amazing little boy over him just going to a concert with his dad, spending quality time with his dad. And at the end of the day, his dad is responsible too. No way should he have been in that situation to begin with. So there's so much accountability to go around here. And I think people need to make sure that you're holding everyone accountable. You need to look at the bigger picture here. And the bigger picture is it's not just Travis Scott that's to blame here. Just because he's the what do you call it? I mean, the performer doesn't mean it all lies solely on him. There are other people involved in this too. And it's not fair to just blame him. It's just not. And I'm always going to give my opinion about that. And I've always wanted to say that. And another thing too, I also feel like, it seems as though Travis Scott was under a lot of pressure to keep that concert going too. Okay. That tattoo is going to eat him up. I honestly wonder if he will get it removed or covered. I would hope so. Definitely. I'm sure he would. And but a lot of people are not talking about how he was a huge fan of Travis Scott. And I feel like that was left out purposely, you guys. I really do. I feel like it was left out purposely. I really hope they vet them, but I just don't think many of those attorneys will. Sad to think about. Actual victims should come first. Absolutely. Right, Carrie. They definitely need to be vetting a lot of these people because like I said, a lot of these people were the ones trampling on people on the ground to get to Travis Scott. Okay? Let's keep it real here. Let's keep it 100. We're not going to sit here and act like the people who attended that concert, all of them are 100% innocent in this, because they're not. They're just not. family members and people who were hurt and went to the hospital, the ones who started therapy right away should come first. Exactly. And yeah, I would hope that he would get rid of that tattoo on him, because that would just like, that would have to, I'm sure he's hurting. You know, my heart and prayers go out to him and his family. But like I said, he as the father has to bear some responsibility too. Sorry, he just does. You should never have put your little guy in that situation, period. Granted, there's nothing wrong with bringing your children to a festival, but when you're putting them in that situation, you have to be able to envision danger for your children. Like if I were to see that many people, there's no way I'm trying to bring my kids, like I literally keep my child next to me when we're walking around the mall. All of my kids, okay? My two little guys. I make sure I don't let them out of my sight at the mall when it's packed on a fucking Black Friday night, let alone going to a concert and having them on my shoulder and that many people. It's too much, and you as a parent have to be able to determine that. So thank you, Goose. Thank you for being here. I'm going to wrap this up in a minute too. The ones jumping on the ambulance really pissed me off. Yeah, because it just shows you the mindset of a lot of those people who were there. And I guarantee you that person who was jumping on the ambulance truck is probably involved in a lawsuit trying to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be real here. But that's really what I wanted to talk about. I think a lot of people are just going off this interview saying, why didn't he take any responsibility? And that's why. He's not going to take responsibility, you guys. He's not going to admit to anything. He's not going to say he's sorry. Maybe deep down he is, but he's never going to say that publicly, because if he does, he might as well kiss being a millionaire goodbye, because he's admitting to guilt. So that's why he's not going to say that. And I know a lot of people think that he should sacrifice all that just to bring closure and comfort to the families. But even if Travis Scott was to apologize and admit to his wrongdoings and, you know, apologize for what happened at the concert, even if he was to do that, do you think that that's going to make the families drop the $10 billion lawsuit that is against him? No. He's not going to go on an interview and admit to anything. He's not going to apologize for anything, because at the end of the day, he's still trying to protect his own ass. And I find it very weird how people think that he is just going to let himself fall on the account of other people, because he's not. He don't know these people. Okay? He doesn't. At the end of the day, to me, Travis Scott just wants this to go away. And it's not. It's not going to go away. I don't think I could ever perform again knowing my last concert caused several deaths. Exactly. I agree, Carrie, but at the end of the day, Travis Scott, I feel like he's saying whatever he has to because he wants this to go away, and just the show goes on. He just wants to continue doing concert after. It's going to take a lot for people to even look at Travis Scott the same again. He has a lot of work to do, but I will tell you guys right now that is why he is not apologizing for anything. Travis Scott is not going to sacrifice himself and his multi-millions and millions of dollars for people that he doesn't even know. And that's just real. Although Pearl Jam kept playing after that disastrous concert they had. Did they keep playing after? Yeah, they did. You know, people still like them. I think people are still going. There are a lot of people out there who are defending Travis Scott. I'm not defending him. I think that, you know, it's really messed up the way that he handled the situation. But at the end of the day, I'm a realist. There's a lot of blame to go around, and I'm not just blaming him. because I'm smart enough to know that he's not the only one responsible for this. And I'm smart enough to know that he is not going to go on any interview saying sorry to anybody. And Charlemagne the God, I'm sorry. As much as I love Charlemagne the God, I think he wasted his time on that interview. Save yourself. Don't even go watch it. You can go in the beginning of my live. I did some commentary on the interview, but save yourself, because basically all you're going to hear is him saying, and we need to find a solution to the problem. That wraps up the whole interview. They want to find a solution to the problem so this will never happen again. That's all Travis Scott said. He just said it in different ways in every single question Charlemagne the God asked him. It was a pointless interview. I think Travis Scott hurt himself more than he helped himself. He should have just stayed quiet and stayed in the background and talked to his attorneys or whatever the fuck it is that he does. Go talk to Kylie, be there for her with her pregnancy, take care of your child, do whatever. You wasted your time with this interview, Travis Scott, and I think Charlemagne the God wasted his time too, because he wasn't asking him any real hard questions, because he's friends with him. He was biased coming in. Charlemagne the God and Travis Scott are friends. Okay? So it was just a waste of time. It was not a real interview. I mean, they had other concerts, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. No, they did. They continued on, and they continued and remained successful, Carrie, even after that concert. So, yeah. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys for being here. I will be live tomorrow at the same time, or I think it's at 10, and we will be talking about the metaverse. That's going to be interesting, you guys. You don't want to miss this live about the metaverse. Be afraid. Be very afraid of the metaverse, okay? I love you guys, and thank you to my amazing mods. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys, and don't worry, I will try to be more consistent on here, you guys. It's just been, I just can't wait for the holidays to be over, okay? It's time. I can't wait. Once they're over, it'll be a lot easier, but I am feeling a little bit better, and I'll be on here tomorrow. And I will be doing makeup on here. It just has to be when I'm feeling better. That's why I had to cancel the one from yesterday and today. Well, I rescheduled it. I didn't cancel it because it's hard for me to be on here doing makeup if I'm not feeling good. That's a long process. So hopefully I'll be able to do it tomorrow or the next day. And the next day, it'll happen. Yes, I just want it to be over with. I'm not even gonna lie, you guys. But I love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing night. And I'm gonna try to do something to give back for Christmas. I just don't know what I'm gonna do yet. But I'll announce it when I do it. When I get ready to do it. It's probably gonna be something really quick, but I do want to do something to give back to you guys on Christmas. Thank you again for your support. To all the replay watchers, which it'll mostly be replay watchers. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this whole interview with Travis Scott. I welcome constructive criticism as long as it's constructive, okay? If you say anything rude or demeaning, you will be blocked. You will be deleted. That's just the way it works. I don't take verbal or mental abuse. You can't be mad at somebody because they have a different opinion than you. I welcome all difference of opinions. But as long as you're saying it in a very respectable way. That's all. Make sure you subscribe before you leave if you haven't already. I adore you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. If you don't know about the metaverse, do your research, because that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I have a lot to say. So you guys have an amazing night. I love you guys. Let's do the outro because I keep forgetting to do the intro. I don't know why I keep forgetting that. It's like I just come on here and I totally forgot about it. It's so weird. I never forget. let's do the outro. And I love y'all. Bye. That's not it. That's it. Bye, you guys.